Okay, I am too.
I can't do it this weekend. I think I was more disappointed than Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, he was disappointed, but I was like devastated. So yeah, like the 25th, I think.
A Sunday again?
Yeah. That way I can split up the trip into 2 days.
Okay.
We need to fix these clocks. We need to change the batteries or anything.
1 minute.
They lose like 2-3 minutes in a couple of weeks. About a minute a week. Can
I
keep
was so
resetting?
excited for him. And I got that text message. No.
We need battery.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, fresh batteries.
So you didn't
Probably
jump,
a
or
single
just the
double
new,
A.
the customers
Sure
can't
you
jump.
will. Just like my trash can, it's gone.
The guest guy does
back.
pop in the house.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Please rise with me and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Good evening. Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Lane.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Turner.
Here.
And Mayor Croft.
Here. All right, let's go on to introductions, presentations, and proclamations, which we have none this evening. We'll go on to call to the public. Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later date, or responding to the criticism. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come up and speak? All right, yes, sir.
Yes.
No, right behind you. He was there first. Come right up. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
It's an old people's thing.
I understand. I understand that.
The name is Ronald Maines, and I'm working on 20 years here.
Okay,
There you go.
got it now. The name is Ronald Maines, and I'm working on 20 years now as a resident of Chino Valley. And I come to you seeking information and public records regarding my neighbor at the windmill.
Ever at the windmill.
Yes. I filed a request on January 9th. I'm requesting, reading it now, I'm requesting public records that have been issued to the developer of the windmill since approval of the commercial light zoning by ordinance 15805 on December 8th, 2015. Please include records that pertain to the buildings, utilities, grading, landscaping, site plans, engineering plans, and permits. I waited 2 weeks and didn't get an answer from Development Services, so I stopped by. And they said they were getting ready to call me and tell me that there were no requests or public records available. Going back to last summer, there was grading and grooming going on the areas on each side of the windmill house itself. And about 6 weeks ago, I'd say, I saw a pipeline being constructed. It started right beside the Cordovana residence. There used to be a pump there, I think. The power pole was still there. Anyway, the pipeline started there, and standing on Road 4 and looking north, it looked like it goes to the lakes that are on the east side of the windmill house. I later asked Development Services about that situation, and they said they looked at the area and they didn't see anything. So I pointed out Section 4E of the ordinance, and quoting now, prior to construction of any new structure, building appurtenance, utility, grading, landscaping, or other improvements to the property other than maintenance or refurbishment of existing buildings, the developer shall submit and obtain final approval for a detailed site plan. The site plan shall be in conformance with all applicable town codes, building codes, engineering requirements, unless otherwise modified therein. I pointed that out to them, and to me, it's very obvious that there's something going on over there, and they've continually said no. So I don't know. It seems like there isn't any oversight, and I don't know where to turn for evidence. So I'm hoping you'll help me out. One more thing, Section K of Section 4K stipulates that there should have been some extra landscaping along the west wall to deter car lights when they turn in, and that has apparently not been done, because you can see car lights going in and out of there big time. So, all right, thank you very much.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. We'll have a response for you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Mayor Croft,
Jermaine.
is your mic on?
It is on. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Please give us your name and
My name is Mary Rocchio, and this is,
And I'm Anita DeMello.
and we're here to let everybody know about a dance we have coming up on Monday, the 19th, from 5:30 to 8:30. It'll be, music will be by Brian Keith Entertainment, and tickets are $15, and that includes pizza and beverages, coffee. It'll be fun.
Yes, and we're going to have a good time. We named it Let's Dance, and so therefore, let's dance, let's liven up the senior center. Okay? We just want everybody to know, let's dance.
Even though it's at the senior center, it's open to the general public. There's no age limit. So some of
Corey.
us who really aren't seniors are still going.
okay, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
We have tickets available.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Hearing none, we'll move on to response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials address matters raised during call to the public at a previous meeting. The first item is questions regarding permitting requirements for dog training organization using town parks. The response, person in call to the public had different questions. First, the group who use Memory Park on Sundays does not have permission to use the park on Sundays for dog obedience training. The Parks and Recreation Department have a formal application on file. Though they can use a facility, they do not have exclusive use of the facility. A sergeant made contact with this group last Sunday to ensure they knew this. They said they did and stated they have not asked others to leave the park. Secondly, a question was raised if the group could have dogs off leash. According to recent Town Code Section 90.2B2 states that an exception of a collar or harness is while being trained for dog obedience training, provided they are properly controlled. In other words, they don't need to have a collar or harness while they're being trained for dog obedience, as they are provided they are properly controlled. The sign at Memory Park has language for our old code stating that all dogs must be on leash. Community services staff will get the sign updated to reflect the new code. Third, a question was raised whether the group has a valid business license. As they are a 501c3, the town does not require a business license. In other words, they're not a business. Lastly, liability. Every dog owner is responsible for his or her own dog and its actions. The second response we had was an update from the Central Arizona Fire and Medical Authority, which does not require a response. The next question was regarding the status of proposed apartment complexes on Road 2 North, retail development, and Road 4 North South, and new asphalt company. The response is, in regards to the property at 4 South, we have no new information on any prospective development, nor any idea why the sign came down. The only activity we have had is the planting of a large screening box pine trees along the spillway as required for the cultivation facility. There has been no update on the apartment complexes behind the Safeway car wash. An affordable senior housing developer is seeking to build on 5 of the 15 acres of multifamily zoning at the Hawks Nest project behind Walgreens. They are scheduled to go to the P&Z on March 20th and Town Council on March 27th to amend the Hawks Nest Planning Area Development Plan to allow approximately 48 single-story senior housing units. An applicant has requested a conditional use permit, CUP, to allow a hot asphalt mix facility on his industrially zoned property that has an existing rock quarry operation just to the northwest of the county subdivision known as Haystacks Ranches. It is understood that the operation will help to serve the needs of local development. April 3, P&Z and May Town Council are tentatively set for a hearing. Okay, that answers that. Let's go on to the next item. Current events or summaries, and I'll talk about the status. This item is for information only. The mayor or any council member or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events or ask a staff member to provide the same. Presentation of information requested by the mayor and council will be made and questions answered. No action will be taken. Well, I'm going to talk about the Citizens Academy. This Thursday will be the third session of Citizen Academy, and where's our Public Works Director? He's back here, and our Finance Director. So you're gonna learn about the large and very important departments we have in the town, other than the town council, which are not really very important. So they tell me.
We were there last week.
You were there last week. We were there last week. So if you want to learn about some of the big projects we have going on in town, come next Thursday right here at 6 o'clock. Won't cost you anything. It's free. Town manager, do you have anything? I thought you went to sleep.
No, he's waiting to hear the council speak. They
Yeah.
have any,
Anybody on the council have anything?
No, I don't. Not until next week.
no?
No.
Okay. Just a couple things. This Thursday, John Coomer, our new economic development person, and I will be down at training with Arizona Association of Economic Development, and it is on tax incentives and other packages and how you structure them. So it'll be good use of our time. And although he hasn't started yet, he has agreed to go to the training with me on Thursday. And we've had some inquiries about the ball fields out at Old Home Manor, and I wanted to let you know that they're temporarily closed by the Parks Department. We've had gopher problems and irrigation problems out there, so they're getting some work done on them, and it'll be several months until we can get those up to. They're not ever going to be back up to a standard that we're going to have tournaments out at Old Home Manor. We're put more of our investment into the community center park, but we want to get them back up for use where you won't twist an ankle and et cetera. So some people have wondered about and we're going to be reseeding them. They've just been wondering why they're closed, so I throw it out there.
Nothing else? Okay, let's go on to, yes. Go on to item C, presentation by Finance Department regarding the revenue manual and revenue projections for the next fiscal year. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. As each year, I do just a short little brief presentation on the revenue manual. As you know, it's one of the first steps in getting the budget ready to go, is project how much money we're going to have next fiscal year. Basically, and the reason we go through this, and we look at every revenue line item that we have over 75. We look at the big ones and the small ones, and it just helps us to improve our accuracy of our budget projections. And I wanted to go over with you specifically on how I'm projecting the revenues and some of the assumptions, underlying assumptions I'm making. Basically, in general, I'm continuing to project every revenue I can as either even or an increase of about 3% next year. So we're still very conservative. I'll continue to update these as new numbers come in throughout the budget process, so they'll change a little bit. And of course, I don't include grants or interfund transfers and stuff in these projections. The general fund, and then I'll get into one of the areas I'd like you guys just let you know how I'm projecting. In the red column here, this is just the general fund revenues. Of course, that's our major fund. Last year, we budgeted about $8,865,000. Well, because of construction sales tax and all the construction-related activity, including building permits, plan check fees, and all those ancillary revenue streams, I'm estimating we're going to have about almost $9.5 million. So we've done really well. And we hope it continues. However, when I budgeted for the construction sales tax revenues and those fees, I didn't just increase them 3%. In fact, I budgeted less than we're projecting this year, because if the construction industry goes down or sputters, and we just don't know for sure, I don't want to over project our revenues. I'd rather wait for the money to be in the bank before we spend it. And so that's why you don't see a significant increase in next year's revenues. So, we're estimating about 9.5 this year, about 9,555,000 next budget year. This chart will really show it to you. This is our sales tax, and as you know, we have our general fund sales tax, which is 3% of our collections, and the capital improvement fund, which is 1% of our collections. And you can see the retail, I'm estimating about $4,011,000, and we're budgeting $4,132,000. So that's about a 3% increase. But if you look at the construction sales tax, this year we're collecting $463,000, and I'm only budgeting $400,000. So it's up higher than last budget year, but I'm not projecting that we're going to continue to climb construction up and up and up. And part of that is our subdivisions, Molly Ray's pretty full, Bright Star's pretty full, and Highland Ranch has plenty of units, but we're running out of lots in some of these subdivisions. And until we see new development come in and hit the ground, I really just don't think I think we should stay conservative on it. So, and you can see, like in the construction sales tax in the capital improvement fund, we collected about 160 this year. I'm projecting 120. So I'm just being conservative. Our capital improvement fund, that's where the 1% sales tax comes down. You can see we budgeted about $1,400,000 to $1,398,000, and I'm estimating about $1.5 million this year. And of course, it's going to dip down because I didn't increase those construction sales tax revenues. These funds will be bringing to you in the budget to do a few extra projects, as we talked about, some one-time projects. State shared revenues, I haven't got the league's numbers yet. We usually don't get those into March, but I'm pretty confident that about a 3% across the board increase is what we're looking at in those. And that's vehicle license, state shared sales tax, income tax. And then our HERF funding, this year we budgeted $920. We're usually right on with their estimates there, and I'm thinking if it goes up 3%, we'll about have $950,000. Our HERF, and this is just a recap of the HERF fund. The $1,122,000, we sold $122,000 worth of equipment, the chip spreader and another vehicle. We will budget to spend that money in fiscal year 18-19, so we won't actually buy the equipment until next July. So, but the trend still is moving up pretty healthily. Our water revenue, again, construction related. If you see we budgeted $610,000, we're up. I'm projecting $829,000. A huge chunk of that is water buy-in fees. So one-time revenues that we're going to have, which will really help the cash position of the fund and help them pay back the general fund for the money that the general fund loaned them. You can see in the 18, 19, 19, 20, and 21 One, the revenues actually go down. Now, I've conservatively budgeted the buy-in fees, just like I did with sales tax, but you're also seeing the impact of the city of Prescott's agreements that they're paying us for starting to dwindle. We got about 50 coming in 18-19, half that in 19-20, and then in 20 and 21, it's over, the amount of money there. So, in the sewer fund, same thing. We had over $600,000 in sewer and buy-in fees this year, and I budgeted conservatively again. But you can see how the usage fees with our keeping our buy-in fees pretty flat in those next 3 years. Our usage and our growth fees, continue to increase that revenue a little bit each year. So the sewer fund, enterprise fund is doing very well. It's healthy. And just a quick little recap. I do also do the major revenues. These are sort of our top 10 revenues, which I believe are almost 60% of our total revenue streams, and it's water and general fund combined. So you can see like town sales tax, $4 million is a big chunk, a big slice of the pie. And if you add it up to there's a 1% TPT, the town sales tax is only 3%. You add the other 1%, you're over, $5.5 million of sales tax. And putting those two pieces together, that's like 46% of our revenue. So we're basically our revenue, our lifeblood is sales tax for the town. And this is how the major revenues look. It's a nice, just about a 3% increase per year is what I'm projecting, just to stay conservative. Unfortunately, fortunately, the trend has been that we're being very conservative, and each year we have more revenue than we planned on having. So, and this budget year, you'll see when we get to the expenses that we're actually trying to keep the fund balance even, since our reserves are fully funded across all of our funds. So we're going to be actually spending more than we're bringing in, but we're going to get some one-time projects done, like some of the things we discussed in the retreat. And so really that's it. Overall revenues are showing steady increases. State shared revenues are increasing, same. Building related revenues are increasing significantly, but I've projected them conservatively. And we're going to continue with our mantra of just projecting our revenues conservatively and not counting the money until it's actually in the bank for our budget. So just wanted to give you a quick update.
Questions?
Thank you.
Oh, no?
She said no.
I said thank you.
It's quiet. It's quiet.
Thank you.
He deleted like 476 slides or something,
Thank
I read.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me that idea,
Yeah.
Annie. I appreciate that.
No
so
problem.
much.
Thanks, Elijah. Great report. Okay. We're right at consent
6.
agenda. All these items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Let's go to this side. You want anything removed?
Nope.
Everybody okay? This side?
Good.
All right, we're gonna move on. Ms. Lewis, would you read the consent agenda, please?
You bet. 6A, consideration and possible action to retain Laura Kyriakakis, Human Resources Director, as the town's voting member on the Yavapai Combined Trust Board and Advisory Group, and appoint Tiffany Resendez, Human Resources Analyst, as the town's alternate voting member to the Yavapai Combined Trust Board and Advisory Group. B, consideration and possible action to approve appointment of Amy Chamberlain to fill the vacancy on the Public Safety Retirement Board created by the resignation of Gary Brusso for the term ending June 30th, 2020. C, consideration and possible action to adopt resolution number 18-1117, approving a call of election for fall 2008, designating election date, purpose of election, deadline for voter registration, and location and deadline for candidates to file nomination papers. D, consideration and possible action to accept the February 21, 2018 study session retreat minutes.
One minor correction, you read 28, it should be 2018. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Let's go on to action items. The council may vote to recess the public. I'm not even going to read this because there are no action items. So let's go on to executive session. We do not have an executive session. So let's go on to item
Jack.
10. Jack.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn, sir.
Is there a
Second.
second? A lot of seconds, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming this evening.
All right, 21 minutes.
Yeah, that was good. That's almost a record.
My new pick.
Not a record. 16 minutes.
So Jack,